Earlier in the week I went to the movies and I saw the big new film, Us, Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out. How much to say about the film is a difficult matter, because it's something that's best watched without being spoiled in advance. All that I will tell you is something that is given away by the trailer, that it's about a family who is menaced by their own murderous doppelgangers. And there are reasons for this, and there is subtext and all kinds of levels to it. But at heart, it's a classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers influenced horror movie. On that level, it works extremely well. Peele has already proved that he is a master of suspense. Get Out, I thought, was absolutely terrific, one of the best films of the year. But not so much ice cream going at that speed. And this follows on with the same. There are some beautifully constructed suspense sequences. There is terrific acting from an excellent ensemble cast. Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke as the parents of the family, and their neighbours who are played by Tim Heidecker and Elisabeth Moss. All of them are terrific. Where the film starts to suffer is, I don't know what it's supposed to be about. I did initially think that it was about perhaps our own darker sides destroying us, the dark side of America destroying itself. I've heard a reading of it as being about an underclass rising up to destroy the comfortable middle class or upper middle class. So it's more of a class film than a race film, and it's very clearly more of a class film, because we have the couple next door, played by, as I say, Tim Heidecker and Elisabeth Moss. They have their own doppelgangers. So it's disconnected specifically from race, but it's obviously still an element of that. Later on in the film, we get more towards a specific explanation of what is actually happening, and it's completely absurd and completely unworkable, and makes almost no sense. It does give the film some interesting visuals. You may have seen a few of them in the trailer, involving rabbits and weird corridors. There's a lot of exciting visual stuff going on that works extremely well as suspense sequences, but fleshing out the whole concept to work as a plausible narrative is completely... It doesn't work at all. I feel that it might have worked better if maybe the origins of the doppelgangers had been left nebulous. Now that Peele is working on a new version of The Twilight Zone, which will have debuted by the time this goes up, something like that where the origin is just a mystery. Maybe they're literally people's shadows who have become untethered and are running around and trying to take over their symbiotes' lives. I think less explanation would have worked better than the amount we're given, and it did remind me of the ending of Get Out, where after all the brilliantly constructed suspense sequences and discussions about race and the latent racism that still exists so much in the West, it ultimately turned into a movie about giving people brain transplants, which just looked daft, and I think there was a way of doing that without having the crazy 1950s mad science. Us is a very good suspense thriller. There are some excellent horror sequences and suspense sequences. There are some excellent performances, as I said, and it's brilliantly directed. As a down-the-line horror movie, it's really good, but I would recommend against thinking about it too much. It's obviously trying to make a point, but once you try and unravel what that point might be and how the world of this movie is supposed to work, it turns to ash as you're watching, which is a great shame. I'm looking forward to whatever it is Peele does next, because he's clearly a master director. But perhaps a collaborator to work with on the writing. Just an extra voice, because it's almost there. It's almost there. It just needs maybe just a sounding board to get everything just right. But even so, I would recommend Us very highly.